There also can be detachment. So in other words, we don't count, that's not for us to regulate. If somebody simply, we wrote the rule to make it easy to comply with. If somebody just at their home detaches the weapon from the brace and keeps them apart, they do not have to register anything. They can keep the brace, they can keep the business end of the gun.
Okay, that's a great clarification. So you're not going to do some kind of constructive prosecution where you say, oh, well, you had this and you had that and you intended to connect
They're keeping them, I mean,
they can just keep them separately?
Them as we
keep them
approach
separately.
them, but
okay, because that's not clear in your rules.
Thomas Massie and Jim Jordan in Congress have put more pressure on ATF Director Stephen Dettelbach to clarify some of his statements during the hearing, in which he said, if you just take the pistol brace off the gun, you can keep the business end of the gun, and that he thinks that would be legal. If you watched my broadcast of it, I'll put it above here. He spoke in nothing but gray area, and they're taking him to task because what he said is very different than what the actual final rule says on firearms with attached stabilizing braces. It's a doozy, guys, and I want you to know what's going on because I get a lot of questions about it. And I'm also going to go off script here, and you know why. All right, so yesterday, later in the afternoon, Congressman Thomas Massie and Jim Jordan, both on the House Judiciary Committee, they took part in the grilling of ATF Director Dettelbach. They sent a letter to him yesterday demanding he clarify some issues because the clock is ticking. The pistol brace rule goes into effect June 1st. We still have not heard from judges on it. I think they're just waiting to see what happens in Congress first. But there's a lot of moving parts. I want to show you this letter, so let's jump right into it. You can see this was dated yesterday. It says, Dear Director Dettelbach, we are writing to ask you to clarify your recent testimony before the House Judiciary Committee. We are concerned that your agency's new stabilizing brace rule and enforcement thereof will result in millions of Americans becoming classified as felons overnight without them having any intent or having taken any action to break the law. The founders designed our constitutional structure to have three distinct branches. The branch tasked with making laws should not be the same branch tasked with enforcing those laws. Congress must be responsible for making laws, and we do not believe the ATF has the authority to enact the stabilizing brace rule. Irrespective of the role your agency is undertaking in the creation and enforcement of its own rule, which is without proper congressional authority, the executive branch has a duty to be transparent with Americans about their classifications of unlawful conduct. There are less than 30 days left until criminal provisions of this rule go into effect. When your agency takes actions that will make millions of Americans felons, you have a responsibility to give a clear, concise, and simple to understand explanation of the rule at hand and how your agency will enforce it. During testimony, you spoke about detachment and how you wrote the rule to be easy to comply with. You explained, detachment, that's not for us to regulate. If somebody we wrote the rule to make it easy to comply with. If somebody just at their home detaches the weapon from the brace and keeps them apart, they do not have to register anything. They can keep the brace, they can keep the business end of the gun. Your testimony raises concerns as it conflicts with guidelines, slides, and other documents and information distributed by ATF. For example, ATF.gov Final Rule 2021 R08F, factoring the criteria for firearms with attached stabilizing braces. Slide 26 indicates that an option available to all possessors allows them to permanently remove and dispose of or alter the stabilizing brace such that it cannot be reattached. From that guidance, it does not appear that individuals can keep both the brace and the business end of the gun, as you claimed in your sworn testimony. We therefore ask for your clarification regarding pistol brace detachment and would, for the sake of the law-abiding citizens, ask that you publicly correct any statements you made during your congressional testimony, which may lead to a misunderstanding or incorrect interpretation of the rule. And I might add, he was sworn in, so if he lied, then yeah, perjury. But you know, Congress, they lie all the time under oath. But yeah, so they're keeping pressure on ATF. I actually am going to have an opportunity to sit down with Congressman Jim Jordan, who heads the House Judiciary Committee, and that's what we're going to talk about. I want to know what's going on with this. I want to know more. So if I get anything out of that, I will bring it to you, of course. We're T-minus 22 days until the 31st, which is the last day should you choose to incriminate yourself, saying that you have had an NFA item unregistered, already made, without begging for the approval and thus paying $200, which then makes that thing safe. Don't know about you, but I'm not doing that. If you choose to, make sure you understand what you're doing. I would recommend you read the rule word for word. Just don't go off of what you see or people tell you, and make a decision for yourself. I don't recommend it. I recommend people wait. I'm not an attorney, but why rush out and incriminate yourself when this is probably going to get struck down? So take that for what it is. And I get some people who respond and say, I'm giving people bad advice. You do you. If you think you're getting a free tax stamp, go right ahead. But just look into the laws about tax forbearance and who can actually do it, because ATF can't. So take those things in with a grain of salt, guys. It's not a free tax stamp. Santa Claus isn't coming down the chimney with a frickin' stamp for you. So know what you're doing. And until we see each other again, be safe, stay vigilant, and carry a gun to keep you, your friends, your family, your community safe. Please subscribe to the channel if you want information on the pistol brace rule or anything else going on in our crazy world called the Second Amendment. And if you could, please help me reach my goal of 700,000 subscribers by the end of the year, possibly by my birthday, July 25. That would be wonderful. Hit that button right down below. I'll see y'all in the next one. Take care.